Welcome, dear friends, to the 66th class of the Bhagavad Gita. We are studying chapter 9. In the last class, we studied from shloka numbers 5 to 9, and most of these shlokas talked about the supremacy of God being the controller of everything, of the oneness of God. So let's quickly revise shlokas 5 to 9, and then we move from, let's say, 10 onwards. And the theme still remains the common theme that God is everything. And this theme has been continuing from chapter 8, where Krishna has already said that he is the fluidity of water, that he is the light and the heat in the fire, that he is the earth, he is the atmosphere, and he is everything that we can perceive of. So let's just clearly study one by one. There are very, very subtle differences in each shloka. So let us, imbibe it completely so that we see the same topic from different facets and angles so that it becomes very complete in our understanding. In shloka number 5, Krishna says, "Behold my divine mystery, in which all beings are apparently not in me, nor does myself dwell in them. Yet I alone am their creator and preserver." So here Krishna is explaining his transcendent and immanent nature, that he is also beyond the world and also in the world. And how this happens is explained in various verses. Let's try and understand them. So he says also that though I sustain the universe, but I am not controlled by it, I am not limited by it, and I am not entangled by it. And from this Advaitic point of view, what we see from this shloka is saying that Brahman Satya Jagat Mithya means God is the only reality, and the world as it appears to us, although it appears real for us in our sense experience, actually it is only a projection, it is only a dream. And just as a dream appears so real to us until we are woken up, similarly the life that we are living now, the scriptures say that this is like a dream, and the day that you wake up and you realize that all is God and all the many varieties that you see is actually just one, on that day of awakening, on that day of enlightenment, you will find that yes, oh, that was a dream, and now I feel my complete self. In shloka number 6, Krishna says, just as air moves in space and has its being in space, but it is not space, similarly, all creatures have their being in me, and yet they are not I. So, although beings exist in him, on the one angle, so again there is a paradox here, that they exist in him and yet they are separate from him. So again, the transcendence and the immanence. It is very interesting that a sadhu once said that the day you are able to pick up paradoxes, that day you will be able to understand, the Advaita or non-dual reality. Because we say that, God exists, but we cannot see him. Then we say that he is everywhere, but then he is nowhere to be found. Then we say that he is still, and yet he is in all mobile creatures. He is the day and the night as well together. So he is the darkless dark and he is the lightless light. So it is, and language is so difficult to comprehend all of this, that the day that you realize that the paradoxes occur simultaneously, that day you will realize that all is one and all the variety that you see is also one. And he says that because space is the supporter of air. So if there is no space, there will be the air cannot move inside it. So similarly, because the space is upholding and being the substratum of air, the same is that one reality, which is the absolute truth, becomes the sustainer of all the created beings which keep moving within it. And the same is with us. So in our own experience, where does this stand? Is when we go deeper into our meditation, and as we go deeper and deeper and we reach to the point where we feel that we are the soul self, at that point we see the layers of thoughts and emotion, we see the layers of prana, and we see body as an object. So when we are able to in ourselves become the absolute subject, and are able to see all these layers, the koshas, as objects, that time also we can understand it, that the air is existing in space. So all the thoughts, the emotions, the pranic movement, the matter, the electrons, they are existing on the substratum of the soul. And the entire process of self-realization is to make you realize that you are that soul which is always immortal, which is always blissful. And because it is playing through a particular set of thoughts and emotions, it's wearing, we are all wearing, colored glasses. So the one who's wearing red glasses because he has those red kind of thoughts and emotions, just to say, is he's going to see the world as red. The one who's wearing yellow will see the world as yellow. Another one will see it as green. But it is the whole one light, which is the soul. And once we understand that, we are able to understand the existence of everything around. And that is why it is said that self-realization is God realization, and knowing yourself, you will know the entire universe. Okay. And in shloka number 7, he explains again, but he talks about the time, about grand creation, how he projects the various worlds and universes, and he projects all beings. And during the time of dissolution, he withdraws this entire creation. And this concept of, pralay or dissolution, or the water filling up, deluge happening, is not only present in Indian scriptures, in Hindu scriptures, it is present everywhere. In fact, if you have heard the stories of Noah's Ark, which is a very famous story from the Old Testament, about thousands and thousands of years ago. And in that story, Noah is a devotee, and he is able to hear the voice of God. And he lives in an area where it is pretty much a desert. But he keeps hearing this voice in which he is directed to create a large boat, a very large boat. And then on that boat, he is supposed to collect all the species in pairs, like all animals that he knows of around them, all plant species, all seeds he is supposed to collect. And and only his family people, he is advised to, all of them are to be collected on that big boat. And then although he is also questioning that, I'm living in a desert, but why is this? Why do I have to do this? But because the voice inside him is so persistent, he starts to construct a boat, a huge one. And of course, his fellow men, the co-villagers and everybody around thinks that he's gone mad, but he persists. And he creates a very huge ark is boat, and on it he places all these animals, and then suddenly one day there is this deluge, and there is water everywhere. Everybody drowns, everything in existence is kind of drowning, and he is safe with his little family of 3-4 people, and all the animals, all the seeds and species of plants. And then it is said that for years and years that the ark floated, and then it came to one point in land, and there again creation was started. So this is a simple human type of story which tells us that this deluge, this creation, this withdrawal, this dissolution, it happens, and different religions have explained it in different ways. So these are cycles of time that are repeated over and over and over again, and it's not a fixed thing that, okay, once this show is done, it's done. It keeps happening over and over again. And we have been told that if you do not attain your freedom in one cycle of existence, then in the seed form, your blueprint will be kept somewhere. And then when another kalpa happens, a day of Brahma happens, and creation is projected, again you will have to come and play different roles till you realize that this is a dream, that you realize that the spirit self is true, and you become one with it. Okay. So, now, this shloka also tells us that we are completely dependent on God. We forget this. Day in and day out, we forget that this universe that we are in, the country, the city, the landmass, the air, the position in space and time where we are, all of this is controlled by the Lord. But because we are so engrossed and involved in our little petty matters, our own thoughts and emotions, that we are unable to, even take a moment to think that, oh, how is this all happening? And the wow factor, that we are amazed to see this creation, the way things are happening. We don't pause. We are running so much, and the RPM of our mind is so much that we don't want to pause and ask basic questions to what is life, how is life, what is creation, how is how universes are formed, and then what is the soul, what is spirit, and how is it that I will find my perfect happiness. So unless we pause, we will not find these answers, because in quietness, all the answers are in the stillness of the soul. To reach that stillness, you have to quieten all the superficial layers of existence in which we are trapped right now. In shloka number 8, so again, this continues the theme that for our survival, for our sustenance, we are completely dependent on the Paramatman. So let's think of the body. What does the body depend upon? The existence of the body is dependent on the prana, the life force, life energy, and the thought. And what does the prana depend on? Prana depends on movement of thought. And how has thought come into being? Thought itself is a vibration of the absolute still spirit. So again, so if we trace back our source, then we from the body to prana, to thought, and then to Paramatman. So all of us are completely created, controlled, sustained, and will dissolve back into the Paramatman. But how much time in every day do we give to the Paramatman? And not only do we, it's not just a robotic existence, we are sustained by love. Out of love, God has created each one of us. So again, how much time do we spend each day to even contemplate this fact that the Paramatman is behind all of this? He is controlling me, he is loving me, he is looking after me. Every little thing in my life is being taken care of. Again, the important thing is, if we pause, we will be able to, ask the real questions in life, and not just, get involved in the restlessness of the world. Okay. And of course, as we understand that God has created everything, this brings up us, a humbleness, a humility comes upon us. And we also understand that just like I am, everybody else is, and we are all just the same, created out of that same intelligence. So a love for others, kindness should naturally develop, and they will. Once we realize who we really are, automatically we will develop these virtues, because not only are they the qualities of the soul, but you understand the oneness of everything. Therefore, your virtues will automatically increase. In shloka number 9, Krishna says that actions do not bind me. Now, when we talk of a human, we know that every action the human performs, especially in the state of ego, is creating a karma, and the karma phala, or the result of that, is going to bind him. But in the case of God, because he works in a non-attached way and in the absence of selfish personal desire, therefore no action binds him. And this is also a directive to us. It is, and how can we also be free even while acting? How do we become free of any entanglements that karma might will get? Is again to be non-attached to the fruits of the action that we are doing, and not to have personal selfish desires. Desirelessness has been told to us by so many scriptures as being the basic prerequisite if we want to attain nirvana, if we want to attain moksha. Now, it is easy to say that you should become desireless, but Master said that you still have hunger in the body, you will need to feed the body. So first step is to modify the desires. Modify desires means limit your desires to basic essentials, and then focus the rest of your time, energy, and resources on finding the truth and going towards desirelessness. Automatically a point will come when your bhakti and your trust in God develops so much, then you're not even worried about thinking about quenching your your thirst, your hunger. There are so many people who are true vairagis. I would talk of only true saints, because there are so many mendicants wandering here and there, uselessly wasting their time. So we are not talking about them, but they are true devotees who are true fakirs, and they say that only if God will give me food, I will have food. Only if God provides water for me, I will have. I will not go and ask for it. And these people are completely dependent on God. So this is possible, but because we are living a kind of a grahastha life, means a worldly life with family life. Therefore, let us simplify our desires, let us modify them, and let us do the simple basic things required for a decent human life, and then use all that you have. And we do not know how much time is left for us. Therefore, let's utilize every day to go for search of truth of God. Okay. Also, he says, and he says that creation, now creation is inherent to God. So how do we understand this? And the examples that some Upanishads give about, that it is the nature of God to just create, is just, they give an example of spider creating a web. Just like a spider naturally creates a web out of itself, just like from the earth automatically trees are erupting, plants are erupting, just like in a human body the nails grow and the hair grow out spontaneously, and this is not a painful no action, it just happens naturally and spontaneously. Similarly, the absolute existence just by its own subtle vibration starts to create, and this is inherent in the nature of God, that it creates and it dissolves. And therefore, also, even though it appears to create, yet just like the sunshine we talked of last time, as the sunshine falls upon plants, and automatically plants make their food. So it's not that the sun is actually doing the work of making food in the plant, but just by the presence of the sun, the plants are made in such a way that they will create their own food. Similarly, spirit is present everywhere, Brahman is present everywhere, and it is self-luminous, and in that light automatically its quality of is awareness, is Satchidananda, it is conscious, and in that awareness everything happens, and then we are that subject, which we are supposed to be watching this creation, and we are supposed to enjoy this creation, and we are supposed to learn from this creation. And but so long, Master wants, so long as you would simply enjoy the ride of this wheel of creation, that much you will be bound, because the problem with this wheel is that when you go out from the body, in the sense as you use your senses into the world, you get temptations and you perform some karma, and then you have the cause will have the effect, and you are bound by the effect, and again more and more karma is created, and therefore you have to want to get out of this wheel of creation to be free. So getting out of the wheel of creation does not mean that you will be annihilated or you will die. It simply means that your compulsive bodily existence will stop, but your existence as pure awareness will continue. You are Satchidananda itself, you are immortal, you are the light, cannot be destroyed, you cannot die. But this compulsive, creative, this urge because of karma, because of desire, that will stop. And that is the goal of nirvana, or that's the goal which we are looking forward in moksha. And he says that all those who are able to live such a life, where they are able to understand this oneness of life, and they are examples, they glorify the presence of God. And because how do you know that God is real? Unless a saint or a God realized master actually with conviction tells you that there is a God and you can find him and he is approachable, till then it is always a mystery. You think of yourselves, you think of your own life before you came on the spiritual path, before you became disciples of a great master. It was always a mystery. Does God even exist? Does he even care? If there's a God, why is there so much suffering? If there's a God, why all of this? Who is doing all of this? Who is controlling life and death? So all of those questions are there, but the Guru comes in the picture, and because he is God realized or self realized, and whatever he says has the power of truth behind it, and that makes your heart, because you yourself are also the truth, the soul. Therefore, the ring of truth that the Guru brings, it vibrates and resonates within your own heart. And then you say, yes, of course, I feel and I know that God is, but let me find out with the help of the Guru, how can I consciously and at will connect with my own soul, connect with the God who creates and sustains everything. Okay, so we now come to shloka number 10. मयाध्यक्षेण प्रकृति सूयते सचराचरम् हेतुनानेन कौन्तेय जगदी परिवर्तते। हे कुंती पुत्र अर्जुन, यह केवल मेरी सर्वव्यापी उपस्थिति है जिस कारण मां प्रकृति चर और अचर को जन्म देती है। मेरे कारण ही प्रकृति के माध्यम से संसार सृष्टि और प्रलय के क्रमिक चक्रों में घूमती है। O son of Kunti, Arjuna, it is solely my impregnating presence that causes Mother Nature to give birth to both animate and the inanimate. Because of me, through Prakriti, the worlds revolve in alternating cycles of creation and dissolution. So again, the same subject is being projected forward, and here he is adding one more thing, that he is the power behind the entire cosmic nature. So it appears to us that Prakriti or nature is doing everything, which is true. But what is the power which is running that Prakriti? And Krishna is clearly declaring here that I am that impregnating power. I am the one who dissolves, and I am the seed which impregnates Prakriti so that it becomes functional. So we naturally understand that without the intelligent cause, simply the material cause will not have the effect which it is having. Whatever we see around us, we see that not only there is matter and energy in it, but there is an intelligence behind it. Nothing is random. Everything has a specific way of functioning. And so who is that intelligence behind? That intelligence behind cosmic nature is the Lord himself. And here we know, therefore, when we look all around, everything around you is being managed and is created by Krishna. So when we say Krishna, of course, we are not talking of the humanoid or the anthropomorphic form of Krishna, which is also true in a sense, but we are talking of the vast Krishna consciousness. We are talking of Brahman, we are talking of Christ consciousness, whatever name you may give to it, but it is that vast intelligence which is behind Mother Nature and which makes it function. And so, of course, also we should understand here even the day-to-day events of our life. Now we think that they are random, we think they may be coincidences, but actually everything is very, very mathematical. And the life that we are living right now is supposed to be the mathematical result of our prarabdha, the section of our karma which is fructifying right now. So it is, all of this is very, very accurate. It is supposed to be very, very precise. But because we are living, we have forgotten our past existences in different bodies and in different roles. And we see only through this limited body-mind complex right now. We think that events that are happening are just random and they have no link to each other. But if even now, if you look retrospectively in your life, you will find that one event, how beautifully it just flowed into the other as a flow chart. One learning led to the other to the next. And it all was in the sequence in which you could understand. And I think I've shared this with you before, but in my life, I have found that whatever books came to me, they were exactly in order of what I needed to learn. And because if the order had been a bit random and I wouldn't have understood the first book, then how would I understand the second? So it was so beautifully arranged that step by step my understanding kept clarifying itself. And of course this is a universe of unlimited, unending knowledge, and you're always a student of life. So what I simply do is I keep learning, and what I'm learning I try to share that with you. But this becomes a very beautiful journey, because as you learn more and more, you're always awe-stricken with wonderment as to what God has created and what is the intelligence behind it. And not only here, when I was in medical school and I would study medical books and I would see researchers. So some researchers and scientists have spent their entire lifetime to study a particular cell or a particular protein molecule or particular strand of DNA, and what we read on one page of a book was actually the result of lifetime of effort of another person. And so many times as I would read that, and automatically, respectfully, I wanted to just bow and touch the feet of that scientist who gave his life to create one medicine or particularly one discovery. which we are utilizing right now. So yes, there is so much knowledge to gain, yet Krishna says that there is a wisdom gaining which you will not have any even intellectual craving to know more. But till the time we are completely awakened and enlightened, it is good to feel out more wisdom. And but here there is a warning which comes here, is that when I read books, that I only read authors who of the saints who are mentioned in the autobiography of a yogi. So Master met Anand Mahima, Master met Ramana Maharishi, Master is mentioned about Master Mahasaya and Swami Vivekananda and Ramakrishna Paramhansa. So I stick to only those books and saints who Master has mentioned already, because we need to select certain vibrational fields which are not only resonating with us, because if we go too far and wide, then we will get lost in this maze, and that is not the purpose. Then the sight, the goal of self-realization will be lost, and we will only be lost in an intellectual panorama, which is not the goal. So whenever you are reading any book, I would say don't go too much here and there. And when you open the book, ask Master, should I read this? Because I've done this a couple of times. I opened a book from some other cult and I started to read a couple of pages, and in 2 pages I knew that this is not the vibration which is resonating with me. This is different from Master's vibration. So I immediately kept it away and I've never picked those books again. So be careful on what you are reading or what you're hearing, and stick to vibration which is related, which is Master or related to Master, because that is going to be the fastest way to reach God. And don't divert yourself here and there. And of course, we have to live the teachings, not only read about the teachings or hear about the teachings. We have to meditate every day, because that is the crux. That is going to give us the first-hand experience of that experience of God. That's going to happen with meditation, not by reading. So please make sure that even though you may be reading something, but if you are not meditating, then there is a fill in the blanks that you need to do. And if you are meditating regularly, then it's good to read also sometimes. Okay, so let's go to shloka number 11. Avjananti mamura manushim tanumashritam param bhavamajananto mam bhutam heshavaram. अज्ञानी जन जो सब जीवों के सृष्टिकर्ता के रूप में मेरी अनुभवातीत प्रकृति से अनजान हैं, वे मानव शरीर के भीतर भी मेरी उपस्थिति को नहीं मानते. The ignorant, oblivious of my transcendental nature as the maker of all creatures, discount also my presence within the human form. So the very importance of this shloka is because Krishna is in body at that time. So he is directly saying that I am in body, but people who are deluded, they will discount. So, and he already in chapter number 4, verses 7 and 8, when he said Yada Adahi Dharmasya Glanir Bhavati Bharata, and those 2 shlokas, he has already declared that as many times dharma will decline, to protect the sages, to protect dharma and to protect truth, the infinite takes incarnation as in a human form. He said that has already been said, and now he is saying that all those who are deluded, all those who are negative minded, all those who live in tamas, all of them, they are not able to know that there is a divine presence in this human body. And that's what Ramakrishna Paramahansa said, that lay people cannot understand that how a human body of matter can coexist with that all effulgent spirit. It is true for everybody. We are both Jad Chetan Granthi, means we are a knot between matter and consciousness. But when the absolute itself gets fully, the full avatar, as they say, that when he comes down on earth, even then it is difficult for people to know exactly who is. And there is multiple examples we have. It is said that when Lord Vishnu descended as Rama, then it was only 12 rishis knew that he is the absolute Brahman coming into the Sagun form with the name and form. The rest did not know him, and even certain other rishis, they said, we only know you as son of King Dashrath. And same is the case with Krishna. So when Krishna descended, then the asuras who were attacking him, even as he was an infant or a toddler, they had no idea. They thought he is a small boy, living in a village, and so how can he harm us? And they were all killed. And as he grew, even everybody around him, the villagers thought that he is this small little boy, a sweet little boy, and he's playing, he's taking butter from every house. And actually, metaphysically speaking, what is that butter that is being spoken of? That butter that Krishna steals is the butter of our devotion. It is said that it is only if not buttered yourself, in the sense, if you have not churned out butter, the devotion from yourself, then it is easy to go back and fall into Maya. But once the butter comes out, then it will float on top. And therefore, it is a warning that unless you have really understood the oneness and you have come to the point of awakening or self-realization, you should not mix too much with this world, with Maya, because it is the property of Maya is to take you downwards. Just like, gravity will just make the water flow downwards. Similarly, the property of Maya is that it will take your mind from virtues to vices. There will be a natural, easy down gliding. But then when you have to do the uphill task of climbing back to virtues, that becomes very, very difficult. Okay. Also about Jesus Christ. So how many people did actually recognize that he was the Christ? Just his main disciples. It is said he had 12 disciples, out of whom one, was he betrayed, and there was 70 other set of people around him. So he had multiple circles, as Master said that every saint or avatar comes as many circles. The innermost circle were those 11 disciples, and then there was a little outer circle of 70 disciples who would follow him, and then of course the rest of the people who followed him later. So very few were able to assess or understand the presence of the infinite Christ consciousness present in the body of Jesus. That's so much so they actually crucified him. And similar is the case with many, many other saints as well. All disciples of Jesus, by the way, were also killed very, very badly. Like Peter, he had to be put on the cross, and the cross was in reverse, means it was upside down. And it is said that he did not cry out even on the cross. Because he had denied Jesus on the last day of Jesus's life, and that is why he said that I have to pay for that, for denying Jesus, and he had to be on the cross again. And there was another disciple who's actually, he was flogged so much that the skin came out of his body. And each of the disciples, only it is said that John was poisoned in the end, but he did not die. And it is said that he is the only one who died a natural death later. He lived in a cave outside town and he died a natural death, but all others were killed. So just an extra piece of information, just to say that when the avatar is on earth, how many people do actually recognize that he is an avatar? It's very difficult. And there's an important lesson from here. So first, let's understand that once the avatar is in human form, he is bound by the laws of Prakriti. He will feel hungry, he will feel thirsty, he has to go to the toilet, he has to, has certain griefs, he has to grieve in his life. So many occasions for grief will come. We all know that in the life of Master, he lost his mother at such an early age, and he grieved over it. In the life of Ram also, he grieved over having lost Sita, in the sense when Sita was kidnapped. So there is this grief. Even don't you think Krishna would have grieved when he had to leave Yashoda and Nanda and Radha in Vrindavan, and he had to come to Mathura to kill Kamsa because it was the call of his duty. And later he would have naturally grieved when his own son became the cause of the end of Yadu dynasty. So of course, when you are playing a human role, then you will have the grief of the human being, and the various laws will be operational. Now, the second important thing we must remember here is that we do not know that people around us who are walking or living their life, How many of them are awakened and to what degree they are awakened? So we should make it a point that we never talk negative about, or we don't gossip about, or we don't look down upon people, especially if we know them already to be saints or devotees of God, because that entails a lot of bad karma. So, and since we do not know, it's better not to gossip or talk negative about anybody. We are nobody to judge. And it is said that if there is a true saint and you don't know and you gossip about that person, your bank account of good karma starts to decrease very fast. So be very careful. Gossip is something we should not get into completely. Actually, we're not supposed to be doing this. Also, if you look around, and the whole television, all the series on Netflix and all the OTTs, you cannot think of not gossiping, but you are not going to go the way the world is flowing. Even if million people start to tell a lie tomorrow, telling lies is not going to be the right thing. Even if crores of people drink every day, does not mean that drinking is the right thing. So similarly, even if everybody around you is gossiping, it is not your business to get into that. If you don't want to leave, you need the bank balance of good karma. Why? Because good karma will keep your chitta purified, and eventually you will be able to use it as a springboard to go beyond both good and bad karma. But if you keep involved in these worldly things, in negative things, then it is going to be difficult. You're using your sense organs in the wrong way. The sense of hearing, you are getting entangled into worldly talk that will take you into the lower chakras, and it will make you matter bound. So please be careful in future as to not talk negative or judgmentally or gossip wise for anybody around you. Okay, we come to shloka number 12. मोघाशा मोघकर्माणो मोघज्ञाना विचेतसा राक्षसीमासुरीं चैव प्रकृतिं मोहिनीं श्रिता। अंतर्दृष्टि के अभाव में व्यर्थ इच्छाओं, विचारों और कर्मों को धारण करने वाले ऐसे मनुष्य पिशाचों और असुरों की मोहने वाली प्रकृति को धारण किए रहते हैं। Lacking in insight, their desires and thoughts and actions all vain. Such men possess the deluded nature of fiends and demons. So here is very important thing has been brought about, and here we know that human nature has been divided into a good and bad in a broad sense. So there is a Devi Prakriti and there is a Asuri Prakriti. Asuris, the Rakshasas and the Asuras, means who have lot of vices in them. So, and he is saying that those who are of Asuri Prakriti, the Asuras and the Rakshasas, they basically belong to the Tamasic and Rajasic Guna. And their activities are all such, their thoughts, their actions, their speech, all of them, he says, that their hopes are in vain, empty, that is pointless. Their actions are in vain, meaning pointless. And they produce, why are they in vain? Because whatever they do, it produces no permanent good. So now look all around you and look at your own life. बुरा जो देखन मैं चला, बुरा ना मिला कोई, जो दिल देखा अपना, मुझसे बुरा ना कोई. So from a third person perspective, look at your own life and of course around people as well, but mostly on your life, on your own thoughts and emotions. Are your thoughts and your actions producing any lasting permanent good? Or are they engrossed in the things of this world which are going to remain as it is here when you leave the physical body? So in yourself, ask yourself, am I having a Daivi Pravritti or am I having a Asuri Pravritti? To which direction am I going? And you will be able to analyze this at the end of each day, which is again the first verse of the Bhagavad Gita starts with an introspective analysis. Each night the devotee analyzes his day and he sees whether the virtues are winning, the Devi Prakriti is winning, or whether the vices are winning or the Asuri Prakriti is. It is all within us. The Mahabharata, Kurukshetra is within us. So know that all the actions and thoughts that you are thinking which are not producing any lasting good, any permanent good, is all pointless. It is all in vain. Do you want your life to go in vain? No. We have come here. This is an opportunity to gain the absolute truth. This is an opportunity to gain God realization. Don't waste your time. Then he also says that their knowledge is also in vain. Why is their knowledge in vain? Because the knowledge is limited only to the knowledge gained through sense organs and the limited mind. Therefore, that knowledge is incomplete, it is in vain, it does not take them anywhere. If you have not understood in this human life that you are the light of God itself, then you have to keep coming, keep coming, keep coming till you realize this. And only then, so eventually, what are we really looking for? All of us are looking for a happiness without an opposite. We are looking for peace without an opposite. I mean, looking for love without an opposite. Now, Sukh, Shanti, and Prem. If we want all of this, we should understand this very clearly that the world cannot give these things to us. And this is what we really want. Unless we understand that true peace, true happiness, and true love can be given only by God and not by this world. Till that time, we will keep wandering here and there. We will be restless. We will think that one desire will fulfill us, the other will fulfill. We'll keep jumping from desire to desire, from thought to thought, from action to action, and all of them is a dead end because it is not the property of this world. This world is dukkhalyam, ashashvatam, mrityulokam. So this world cannot give you love, peace and joy. This is what we are looking for. Therefore, look in the right direction. So therefore, all your thoughts and all your actions should and would take you towards this higher goal only if you are conscious and alert about what you are thinking all the time. Your life is a manifestation of your thoughts. And if there's anything you don't like, you have to change those thoughts. And especially this eventually you will get disgusted of this world because this world is only false promises. It does not give you what you want and you have no option at the end, no choices left because your hunger for peace, love and joy will not stop because you are made of it. And therefore, till you find your oneness with God, you will know the truth. Till that time, some evolution, some movement will keep happening. Then why not now? Why not in this life is the question you should ask yourself. And be very, very alert about what you are thinking at any given moment in time. Is it a waste of time? Are you thinking in vain? Or are you really going to gain some permanent happiness or permanent wisdom out of what you are doing? So be very, very careful. Okay. These such people, they are devoid of understanding and so they have no thought of anything beyond the body. So again, look all around. People are so busy with what? Eating, eating, eating. One, that is one. Listening to some this music, that music, watching some entertainment, earning some money. All of this, most of this is for the body or the very basic level. Some entertainment is there for the mind. Everything else is junk. Now, if you are thinking only of how to please the body or how to make the body comfortable, then you are so entrapped in the body. Why you are doing this? Because you think you are the body. Now, that is false. And if you are living a false life, imagining that you are this body and you are this personality, then all that you are doing is going to go in vain. And there you are not progressing upwards. You are not uplifting yourself. And we have to go beyond body consciousness, and that is the realization of the Atman that we want to go towards. The Guru has come here for that. God is telling this scripture to us for that we realize that we are that immortal Atman only living temporarily through this impermanent body. We are in Dukkhalyam because there are certain lessons that we have still not learned, and as the sooner we want to quicken our progress. And if we want to quicken our progress, then we need to meditate regularly because Kriya Yoga will take you through the airplane route to God. Okay. So please, each night, I think, in fact, sometimes during the day also, keep watching and introspecting. When you have had a dialogue with somebody, just take a moment to pause and look back and see how was the conversation and did you have any irritation or fear or anger while you were talking, because these are all vices, these are the Kauravas. Or were you able to tackle the situation with a level of calmness, with a level of understanding? And were you able to, without judgment, give peace to others or not? So you have to be very, very on top of things. On top of things means on top of your mind. You have to be very, very analytical. You have to dissect your own thoughts and take them in the right direction all the time, every day. Okay, we come to shloka number 13. महात्मानस्तु मां पार्थ देवीं प्रकृतिमाश्रिता भजन्त्य अनन्यमनसो मनसो ज्ञात्वा भूतधिम अव्ययम्। हे पार्थ, अपनी प्रकृति में दिव्य गुणों को व्यक्त करने वाले महात्मा जन मुझे समस्त जीवन के अविनाशी स्रोत के रूप में जानकर अनन्य भाव से भजते हैं। But Mahatmas, great souls, O son of Arjuna, O son of Pritha, Arjuna, expressing in their nature divine qualities, offer the homage of their undeviating minds to me, knowing me as the imperishable source of all life. So in shloka number 12, he talked about the asuras and the rakshasas, the one who come from tamasic and rajasic tendencies. And here he is talking of Mahatmas who live a sattvic life. So Mahatma, let's dissect the word a little. Maha means big, it means vast. Atma, and Atma is the self. So the one who has understood that his self is the vast self and is not limited to one body and mind, that person is a Mahatma. And that is why you would have heard sometimes, monks are addressed as Mahatma. Of course, they are on the way to becoming Mahatmas. And these days, it is said that Mahatmas can be living in apartments because from the outside, you cannot judge who is really, vast in his consciousness. And Mahatma would simply mean that one who is vast in his consciousness, who is inclusive of everybody, who is undeviatingly thinking of the Lord, who is contemplating on the Lord, and his consciousness is merging with the Lord. That one is the Mahatma. And this kind of life, he has this Mahatma has already understood God to be the primal cause of everything. He knows that God is that birthless, deathless being. And he also understands also that the safety, what lay people look for, as we said earlier, the little love and the happiness and the safety and the wisdom, that whatever we look for in the world, the Mahatma knows that the world is empty of these things and he will find them only in God. Therefore, by Ananya Manaso means having single pointed mind on God, he moves in that direction, and then he grows from even beyond sattva, he goes beyond all the gunas and becomes one with God. Okay. Also, only when we have, when we have developed understanding, when we have had the experience of God, in the sense if we've experienced peace in ourselves during meditation, or during or after Kriya Yoga, or in certain points in time where there is absolute stillness does take you over. So sometimes it happens that while you are meditating, you may not experience peace, but later that whatever that meal you have cooked, the meditation that you have done, it will have its effect later. So sometime later you may feel a point of stillness in yourself, and then after you have understood the peace of meditation, of course it's beyond understanding, but you have felt it, only then you have a standard of comparison between what the world can give you, that how temporary and transitory the world is, and how beautiful this peace of your own soul is. Once you have this first-hand comparison between the two, only then obviously you will keep choosing the peace. And therefore, when we meditate, we should pray to God and the Gurus to give us deeper experiences of peace, because the more and more peace we experience in meditation, the more we will have that sense of comparison, and the more easily it will be able for us to leave all petty desires. Because once you have that peace, you don't have to beat the desires away, you don't have to beat the fears away, you don't have to beat the hatred away. That peace itself is the solution. Automatically living in that peace, you will have no desire, you will have no hatred, and the purpose is solved. And such are Mahatmas who may live whether as monks or as householders, but they are vast in their consciousness and they have understood the truth of God. Now we come to shloka number 14. Satatam kirtayanto mam yatantascha dridvrata namasyantascha mam bhaktya nityayukta upasate. In Hindi, just give me a moment. Okay. मुझ में नित्य लीन, मुझे श्रद्धा पूर्वक नमन करते हुए, अपनी उच्च आकांक्षा में दृढ़, वे सदा मुझे भजते हैं और मेरे नाम का गुणगान करते हैं. Constantly absorbed in me, bowing low with adoration, fixed and resolute in their high aspiration, they worship me and ever praise my name. So, in verse 13, he's saying Mahatmas are single pointed in God. So, how in this shloka, he is explaining how do they remain single pointed. So, firstly, their connection with God is, their striving is unceasing without stopping. So they may be singing the praises of the Lord, they may be hearing about the Lord, they will be contemplating on the Lord. Whatever actions they are doing as service to the Lord. So every moment of their life, they are striving to connect with God in every way. And so this is a direction that we are told. So when we hear about these things, we are told that if we also start behaving in these directions, then we will also go towards God realization. So we should offer everything to God. Whatever work we are doing, we should think of the Lord behind it. We should do it as service. Whenever you are praying, you should actually pray to an actual living presence, thinking that God is listening to your prayer. And again, not expecting any specific fruits of action out of your prayer or out of your actions. Then always contemplating on the truth of your own being. If on a daily basis you keep doing whatever the Mahatmas are already able to do, then you're automatically moving in that direction. You're evolving and you are uplifting yourself. And important thing here is whatever tapasya that these people do unceasingly, whether it's a constant prayer, it's a constant communion, whether it's constant meditation or certain austerities that they do, it must be done with determination and with some cheerfulness. So in the Bible, we read that if you are fasting and if you are making a face on the day of your fast and you are acting clumsy, then it is of no use. So if you have chosen to fast on a particular day, on the outside, your behavior, your attitude, it should be untouched by the fact that you are doing some austerity. Nobody in the world has to know that you are fasting. So that's what they're saying, that you have to do it with cheerfulness. Be happy, even though you are taking on some tough job mentally, maybe you are mentally fighting with some difficulty, but on the outside your behavior should be appropriate to the situation you are in, and do not go around with a long face. In fact, there is a saying Vivekananda would say that the day you feel sad and depressed, you should lock yourself inside a room and don't show your face to anybody, because just like happiness is contagious, similarly sadness is also a vibration, even that is contagious. So you should not give this disease of sadness or moodiness to anybody else. So first you correct yourself and then only come and meet the world. So again, coming back to the point that you have to strive to connect to God unceasingly, untiringly, all the time, because that will make sure that the moment of death, when the time comes to leave your physical body, your mind will be automatically on the Lord. And this you do on a daily basis with cheerfulness, willingly, and with a lot of determination. So if you are wishy-washy in your devotion, if you're, as we said, if you're lukewarm, then the results will not be forthcoming. So the true bhav has to be there. You have to have that thirst for God, because only once that thirst is there, you will work relentlessly to find God. So all this shloka, this verse number 14 is about bhakti yoga. And we know there are 9 ways to have bhakti, and we have read about, we can be friends with the Lord, we can be a servant to the Lord, we can do puja, we can do archana, we can do aradhana, we can prostrate ourselves in front of the Lord, and we can offer our life. So surrender, Ishwar Pranidhana is one way. So there are many ways to have this bhakti bhav in your heart. And as Sri Yukteswarji said, without the natural love of the heart, you will not be able to progress on the spiritual path. Why? Because if you work only with the intellect, God is beyond the intellect. The absolute existence has created the intellect, but it is beyond the intellect. Therefore, therefore through the way of intellect you can come to only a point of understanding, but the true connection with the divine is the involvement of the love of the heart, because that is no shashvatam, that is eternal and that is infinite. So if you connect with God through love, that is the easiest way, and because that is always available to us. Okay. So we'll just quickly also do shloka number 15. ज्ञानयज्ञेन चाप्यन्ये यजन्तो मामुपासते एकत्वेन पृथक्त्वेन बहुधा विश्वतो मुखम्. This means दूसरे जन भी मुझे विराट स्वरूप परमेश्वर की ज्ञान यज्ञ द्वारा कई विधियों से आराधना करते हैं, पहले अनेक और उसके पश्चात एक के रूप में. Others also, performing the yagya of knowledge, worship me, the cosmic bodied Lord, in various ways, first as the many, then as the one. So this shloka talks about the Jnana Yogi. After Bhakti, he's talking of Jnana, saying there are others who worship him through Jnana Yagya. So when we say Jnana Yagya, it means the fire of knowledge. It also means knowledge sacrifice. So when we say knowledge sacrifice, is Master says that a devotee who or seeker has gained various knowledge, that each of his knowledge that he has gained, he offers it as an oblation, he sacrifices it in the fire of ultimate wisdom, of final wisdom that takes him towards his own absolute consciousness, existence and bliss. And so this is basically talking about the Advaitic realization. The Advaitic realization that there is no many, there is only one. And so coming to that, only the Jnana Yogi via continuous Shravanam, Mananam, Nididhyasanam, why he keeps hearing about the truth of the self, he contemplates it and he meditates on it, and he reaches to the same point as the Bhakta Yogi comes, but then he offers everything to the Lord. Everything is like that, it's like that fire in which you throw everything, your attachments, your understanding, your knowledge, because you understand what the whole chapter which has come before this is that when God is saying that I am everything, I have created everything, I am sustaining everything, I am controlling everything. So the Jnana Yogi, understanding this, will offer all his limited knowledge and all the instrument of knowledge into that one knowledge sacrifice called the Jnana Yagya. And then Master beautifully says, through many perceptions, the devotee learns to worship the Lord with a sole perception, the knowing of him as the absolute. First, the yogi sees that God is all. Then he grasps with ultimate simplicity God. So, and same line is said by Sri Yukteswarji in the autobiography of a yogi, where he says, what more liberating thought than God is? Nay, God. So yes, because we start from variety and we see so many things, and our realization takes us to the point where we say, oh, all is God. But then we go one step ahead and we say, God is, nothing else exists. So only to God. When you come to the point where you can just say God and realize that truth of that absolute existence, that is the point where the scripture, beautiful scripture of Gita, Lord Krishna and our Guru are wanting to take us. So let's follow their lead. Let's walk on the footsteps of the Guru and attain our own moksha with the grace of God and the Guru. With that, we will end today's class and we will share the power and blessings of these teachings with soul friends everywhere. Let us pray together. Divine Mother, beloved Krishna, thou art omnipresent. Thou art in all thy children. Manifest thy healing power in all bodies, all minds, and all souls. Om. 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 Divine Mother, beloved Krishna, great Gurus, may thy love shine forever on the sanctuary of our devotion, and may we be able to awaken thy love in all true hearts. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.